Hello YouTube. Today we're going to cover a very important topic in C, that is pass by value and pass by reference, the basic difference between these two. And again, I'm going to use a very basic compiler, that is Turbo C. So let's get on with it. For starters, what is pass by value and pass by reference? Pass by value is when you actually pass a value to a function as arguments where that function is called. Say a function is called in main, and there are two variables that have already been declared in main, and you pass those variables, rather the values of those variables, to the function that you're calling in main. That would be passed by value. Okay, I'll show you both and I'll explain you one at a time. This is our main, return type is void. Say I have two variables a, and just to keep it simple, I'll initialize the value of a as 5 and b as 10, just to keep it simple, because understanding is what matters the most. Okay, so now let me call a function that is sum, and I'll pass a and b. Okay, now just your catch to hold the screen, and now let me define the function sum, since it will take two parameters and say a and b. These actually, they do not relate. This int a and b just take the value of a and b which have been passed to this function. When you name the parameters same as that the arguments, then these parameters are known as formal parameters. Okay, so let's see. And then and b already passed out. Let me see. Declare c equals a plus b, and now if I print the value of c, I would get the sum of these two. Now let me define the prototype of this, copy and paste it. Then I'll have to remove the names, obviously, because prototype definition, it does not take name. Then semicolon. Okay, did I get everything? How about just clear screen? Okay, so let's run this program. See, 15, I didn't declare a and b at all in the function sum, but yet since I passed the values of a and b, which were 5 and 10, these formal parameters a and b took the values 5 and 10, and then when I actually did c equals a plus b, that is c equals 5 plus 10, that is 15, so c prints out to be 15. Now this is called by value. If I somehow manage to change the values of a and b in this void, that is void sum, in this function, the values of a and b in the main function, that is the values of this and the value of this, will remain as it is. There isn't going to be any change in the values of a and b there. This is what call by value actually means. Okay, now let me demonstrate. See guys, I might have to do this video in two parts since I have a recording limit of 10 minutes, but let's see. If I actually do this C and, okay, not C, P and Q, now these are completely different variables. these are just holding the values of a and b, and since there was earlier a and b, even if the values of a and b changed in this function, the value would remain as it is here. This is what call by value is. Now what call by reference is, I would actually give the reference of these two variables, that is the address of these two variables, I would pass to this function. That means any change in the address and the values held at that address of a and b, any change here would be reflected here. Let me show you. Let me demonstrate you this. Now for reference, for call by reference, you actually have to pass the address, and address is demonstrated by ampersand sign like this, and to hold the address here I would actually need pointer. So asterisk denotes pointer, so here are my two pointers. Now just to demonstrate you, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Let's see now. Okay, inc equals to asterisk p plus asterisk q, since you guys would be knowing that asterisk is used to access the value at a particular address. Now p is a position, is a pointer pointing a particular address. That address is of a, and q is a pointer that's pointing the address of p to access the value at these addresses. I would need asterisk sign, and so did I use here. Now let's change the values of a and b. Okay, I mean the values at p and q. Let's change that. Let's say asterisk p equals to asterisk p plus 1, and asterisk q equals asterisk q plus 1. Now what this would do, it would increase the value which is kept at this address by 1, and since the value that is kept at this address is the value of a, that would be increased by 1. So let's see how that rolls out to be. Okay, let's print the value of a and b. And also let's do this. I'll copy this, and we'll also print the value before passing. Okay, it'll give us the values of both, and it will also give us the sum, since this is the sum function. So any change created in the values of a and b here will also be seen here. That means the actual values of a and b would be changed in a function that has been called in main, and that exactly is called by reference. Reference means called by address actually. Let's run the program. Oh boy. Oh, I had to make changes in prototype, so this should be int asterisk and asterisk. Now you see. Okay, let me make it more clear. \n, and there you go. So first statement would be the values of a and b before passing as a reference, and the second values would be a and b after the change. Okay, so let's see. So you see, it's 5, 10, and 15 is the sum. This sum actually 15, because the function sum has been called first, so 15 is the sum, and then would be the values of a and b. So there you go. 5, 10, 15 is the sum of 5, 10, and then 6, 11. 6, 11 is the value. The value has been modified since we incremented the values of a and b here in this function. So any changes in the values of a and b here would be seen here also, since we are changing the values of a and b right at their address. Okay, so if you have any doubts, just leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. I'll help as much as possible. Ask me questions, ask me